With conferences approaching, I'd like to take a couple minutes to talk about our new grading system, report card, rubrics, and questions you may have regarding standards-based grading. Our SPIN grading policy is based on ensuring that every child is proficient in each one of the academic areas. Proficiency is the goal. The letters S-P-I-N stand for superior, proficient, intermediate, novice. Those letters, those words also have a very specific descriptor that goes along with it. Teachers create lessons, they create something called rubrics that will identify what a child needs to do and be able to understand to be proficient, superior, intermediate, and or novice. In every classroom, you'll see one of these posted. Teachers have taken time to go over what those expectations are with the children. For instance, if your child is proficient or proficient plus, this is a student who demonstrates mastery of the standard being assessed with no major errors or omission and is at grade level. The other grading structure we use is called Habits for Success. And Habits for Success is not necessarily a grade, but habits do influence grades. So those areas that we take a look at are preparation, participation, homework, cooperation, respect, and quality of work. And we use a symbol, a check plus, check, check minus, or X. Check plus is high quality work. Check means they meet expectations. Check minus means they're still missing some pieces. It's important to note that this is not included in the final grade, but just like anything, when you practice something, you get better at it. So it does help to achieve that grade. For example, on a traditional report card that we've used, your child will receive one average grade for the entire trimester in a subject area. Let's take math. That might be a percent with a number, 4, 3, 2, 1. It gave you a little bit of information about where your child was overall mathematically, but not specific to the individual strengths and or weaknesses. On our new report card, mathematics is broken down into strands or areas of concentration. The use of standards aren't new at Hampton Academy. Hampton Academy staff have been using standards for almost 10 years to create instruction so that they can follow their scope and sequence and make sure they're teaching the concepts that need to be taught at each grade level. The difference now is that we're going to use those standards to assess. The goal there is to give you, your child, and the teacher more information about how a child is doing in specific content. For example, when we talk about mathematics, mathematics covers 5 areas: the number system, ratios, proportions and relationships, expressions and equations, geometry, and statistics and probability. Now, we may not cover all 5 of those strands during one trimester, but by the end of the year, we're going to hit all 5 of those with several assessments. You can see that on the progress report. Depending on how many assessments are done in each one of those strand areas, you'll see a letter associated with that, an S, P, I, or N. That's a progress grade. One of the major differences between standards-based report card and a traditional report card, besides not using percentages, we also don't average the grades. For example, in a traditional report card, there may be 6, 7, 8 assessments given over the course of a trimester. Those are all added up and divided by the number of assessments and gives you an average score. Where your child might be very strong in statistics and probability, their number sense might be very low, but you'd have no sense of that because you just got an average score. Instead, we're using what's called a mode. That mode is the most frequent letter that comes up. So if your child is performing at a P, 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 I, P, P, most likely they're going to get a P or proficient. Again, our goal is by the end of the year for them to be proficient because we're introducing new concepts. Middle school is a time when we're preparing them for high school. So if your child isn't proficient in the first trimester, don't worry. An intermediate score is actually very good because they're making progress towards achieving mastery of that goal. Well, let me give you an example. Writing is one of the largest strands in our language arts program, and I have an example here of a child who has had 5 different assessments, and I believe they've received an I, a P, and an N. And you can see down below here that there's a couple of assignments that have no scores, and those are called formative assessments. They're not included into the final calculation. But you can see here that the child has progressed to an I+. And really, that's a progressive score. So it's not, well, could not be their final score, but it's where they are right now. The point of me showing that example is that please don't worry if you see an N or an I on your child's progress report. It just means where they are at this current point. And again, that changes throughout the course of the trimester or even the course of the year. Our goal at the end of the year is to make sure that they're proficient. Thank you very much.